5 a.m. on March 11, 2026. Employees at Stryker, a $25 billion medical device company with 56,000 employees across 61 countries, has a cyber incident. Within 3 hours, roughly 80,000 devices have been wiped, not encrypted, not ransomed, just erased. The Iran-linked hacktivist group compromised an admin account and then used Microsoft's own Intune remote wipe capabilities to erase Stryker's entire managed device fleet. Manufacturing halted, shipping stopped, surgeries had to be rescheduled. This all came from a single admin action. And this is exactly why this mission matters today, because the tools that could have stopped this exist right now in your Microsoft environment, and most organizations haven't turned them on. Microsoft's response to this attack was clear. They pointed directly to a feature called multi-admin approval, something that was already built into Intune as a control that could have broken the attack chain. This actually requires a second admin to approve a device wipe action as an example before it executes, and suddenly one compromised account isn't enough. That's what we're going to walk through today, how to set that up step by step. But here's the full mission agenda, because the story doesn't end there. First, we'll cover what multi-admin approval is and how it works. Second, we'll set this up step by step in the console so you can implement it today. But third, we also need to talk about where this protection breaks down, because even with this configured, there's some gaps today that affect MSPs directly. So let's go ahead and dive in. Hey guys, so diving in here, just a quick review of the multi-admin approval. As you can see over here on the left, this is what most every account has set up without multi-admin approval. Like we saw with the Stryker attack, where you have a single point of failure. Somebody can compromise an admin account. It could be a global admin, could also just be an Intune admin, though, as an example. And then, they perform this wipe activity, which happened instantly. There was no review. There was no, approval in this particular case. And then, the entire fleet of their devices were remotely wiped. With the multi-admin approval, you can also refer to this as a two-key protocol. And think about that like nuclear codes, right, or nuclear launch. You'd have two people putting in keys, turning at the same time to go ahead and get that approved. Similar concept here, where if you go to send that request for an Intune wipe, as an example, it's going to be held in the queue and pending review. Second admin have to come in and approve that, provide justification potentially, and then the action would execute, right? So just another additional layer there to help stop these types of attacks, or potentially even could be accidental changes, right? It doesn't always have to be malicious in that nature. At the time of this recording, these are the various types of actions that we'll see here in the demo that you can actually find into this multi-admin approval. Well, let's go ahead and do that now and walk into the Intune Admin Center and see how you set this up. Okay, so I'm here in the Intune Admin Center, and just from a call out of licensing, all you need is an Intune license to be able to do this. Microsoft even has these banners now put up just because of that attack. But when we're in this portal, we can go under the tenant administration section, and I can go under the multi-admin approval here, and you can see there's no active requests, but we can go ahead and create what is called an access policy. And this is where we're going to define scope of what requires an admin approval. So I'm going to say this is a device wipe approval as an example. And you can notice here, like I just had showed here, you could do this against scripts that you need to push out, apps, compliance policies, device deletes, device retires. So these are the more sensitive ones that I would say as part of this as well. So we're going to do device wipe. And depending on the ones, you could say which platform it is as part of this as well too. And as you notice here in this statement, it says remote device action policy will limit actions on specific action like delete, retire, wipe for single devices or bulk in the admin portal or graph APIs. I think this is an interesting call out as well too, just because an attacker might compromise an account, get an access token, and also do this programmatically. And so being able to stop this even through graph APIs is also an important benefit to this. And so what we need to do here actually is we need to include a group here. It's going to be our admin approval group. And so I haven't set that up yet, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to click get this into a new tab here. And I'm going to go ahead and set up a new group. And I'm just going to call this the admin approval group. And we're going to make the membership assigned. I'm going to include myself in this just as a call out. And then I'm going to do one more for the secondary member that we need. And this could be Oliver Queen here as an example too. Go ahead and create this. Now in regular production environments, you may have, certain users that you have that's like a shared account that you put OTP code into IT glue or some documentation tool or something like that. But you could have just a dedicated service account, and then recommend, as we'll get to in later state, enabling them for privileged identity management too. just because it's helpful in reducing your attack surface. A little beyond the scope of this video, but just to call out for those of you that already know what that is. So now if I go to admin approval, and then you also have to create a justification for this. So even the action of creating the access policy requires a secondary approval. So we're to say, main policy for device wipe. We'll submit that for approval. And then you'll have this device wipe request that needs approval here. So let's go ahead and sign in with our secondary admin and take a look at what this list looks like for them in the Intune Admin Center. Okay, so now I'm signed in as Oliver Queen here. It's the other admin in the approval group. I've got this request here. I actually created a duplicate in the time that I came back from this video, but this is in this needs approval status. So if I click into this, and then it says you can approve or reject this request if you have the approver permission. So here I'll just say approved, and I'll click on approve request. So now this is in an approved state. And if we go back to access policies, click on refresh here. There's no policies to view still. Go back to the T-. Got this approved. Let's keep refreshing here. Maybe this is just a propagation timing thing. Okay guys, so back here I realized you got to go back into all request here and go to the approved one as that person who did it and just say complete request. So now this is successfully completed. As an example, now if I refresh here, there's my device wipe approval policy. So a little bit nuanced in that sense, but now I've got this policy set up here, and this is again for device wipes. So now if I go back into devices and I go under Windows, click into this PC, and I click on wipe, you'll now see this business justification reason that is listed underneath this. If you do not see this, it means it has not propagated yet. It took just a few minutes for me in my environment, but just note that before you make that request. So I'll go ahead and check this box and say, Nick has left the org as an example. And then now you'll also see this button go to request for wipe as part of this as well too. So then it gives you this message that says IT administrator must approve wipe action. And so if I go back under tenant administration and I go into multi-admin approval, this has got that new action as part of this, and this needs approval. It's got a little bit of JSON in here that you can see for the object, and I cannot do this on my own, so it needs the approval of the other admin. Now back in the Intune Admin Center here for Oliver Queen, I can see the new request that's come in here for Nick Ross PC. I can see the business justification that was left, and I can see the user detail as well as the action name that applies here, and then I can put in the notes here to have this approved or rejected, just like you guys saw on the last approval, just for the access policy itself. One other piece to note here, after that is completed or approved, you still have to come back in like we saw for the access policy and then complete the request as part of this as well too. So there's a little bit of back and forth there as part of that process. And just note that if it doesn't get action on, I think for 3 days is when it's considered stale and the action request will expire. And that's part of this too, so they don't stack up over time, which I feel like is a fair time frame for that to go into an expiration state.
Now, before you close this video and call it a win, there's two major gaps that I want to cover with you here today. The first of this, if you're an MSP and you use GDAP today for granular delegated admin permissions in your downstream customer environments. If you hold the Intune admin role as an example, and your technician goes in and performs a wipe request for devices, that's going to completely bypass this multi-admin approval, at least at the time of this recording. So that's why it's so important that we talk about supply chain risk and protecting those downstream accounts as well too, which I'll have some recommendations for that we've done in previous videos here too. The second gap that I see today, obviously, is that in the case of this Stryker scenario, we had a global admin that was compromised. And so technically that global admin can go and do whatever they want within the tenant. So they could have spawned another global admin to go fulfill the multi-admin approval. And granted, this would significantly slow them down because they'd have to understand what the multi-admin approval is, how to go configure it, and so on and so forth. So it would increase the amount of time that they could actually go and execute that single command. So it's still a great security win, but it brings up the importance of having layer protections and defense in depth approach, which is going to lead into some of the other recommendations I'd have. to implementing controls that go beyond this multi-admin approval itself. So diving into the recommendations here, guys, first and foremost, go turn this on today, whether you're a direct customer watching this video today, but if you're also an MSP, I would enable this for my internal tenant. Just understand that there is that gap with GDAP, which technically is something we'd probably still want in place anyway. I don't know as an MSP how you would go fulfill these multi-admin requests if you need a user to be within that tenant to be able to fulfill the approval process, right, as part of that. But this kind of brings up a secondary recommendation, which we'll get to around PIM for GDAP here in a second. Just know as you guys go to implement this, one other gap confirmed in the Microsoft docs, at least at the time of this recording, is that there's no notification system for when a approval request is made. So you have to have a process behind this that technicians can use as an example to say, hey, I've recently created a request. I need you guys to go approve it. You can likely just do that over Teams messages and things like that. But just know it's not an automated notification system that you're going to get whenever there's a new request. The second recommendation I've had is to implement PIM in your MSP tenant. If you're an MSP watching this today. And this is something I'd also recommend implementing if you're a direct consumer. PIM in general is privileged identity management. I've done videos on this for MSPs directly with GDAP, as well as just a direct consumer and PIM that you would enable within your tenant itself. But it does allow for just-in-time access of these global admin roles. And so if one is to get compromised, they wouldn't have the full keys to the kingdom until they went and activated that role. And you can gate that activation by things like approval or an MFA push request or something like that, that often gets another layer of protection in there. So you're not talking about giving up keys to the kingdom as part of that. For MSPs and PIM, you can actually enable PIM level groups for your access that you would have for your GDAP relationships. I've recommended this in the past so that you have just-in-time access to your customer environments whenever you get a ticket. But access is actually removed any other time, especially on the weekends or holidays. Some of those major considerations there where we wouldn't have perpetual access into those environments and couldn't do things like go in and wipe devices from those environments as well. My third recommendation here is also for admin accounts, but specifically our break glass users. I've done a whole video on this too for best recommendations here, but these are accounts that should just be used in the case of emergency access where you potentially locked yourself out of the account. And there's some general recommendations here. I'll give you guys 3 recommendations for most environments, one of which is that these should be cloud only. They should not be tied to a hybrid environment or local AD if you have a hybrid environment set up. They should be excluded from conditional access. At least one of them should be excluded so that you can regain access to the account. And they should be monitored. I showed this in a previous video, but you can configure audit logs to go and alert for sign-in activity against that to make sure that there's not inadvertent access going on. But it's very critical that you have these accounts and not be used in the multi-admin approval group. This is something that you would keep separate. They should not be part of that group where they're doing approvals because that goes beyond the emergency access situation. Okay guys, so to conclude here, the Stryker attack should be very eye-opening to the significant impact a breach could have on your business. Imagine all of your data being wiped out in an hour and none of your employees being able to work. You have all the tools in your defense in-depth approach now from some of the things I talked about in this video. Multi-admin approval is available right now if you go into the Intune portal, and PIM for your MSP tenant is also available right now. I've done a whole video on that. That'll link in the description as part of this as well. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below in the comments section. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week.